Mm-hmm. All right, when we last left you guys kind of wrapped up business in Salt Marsh. You spent about a week or so palling around town, doing things on your own, sometimes a little bit together. Um, Hold on, I'm trying to get to my. All right. And after kind of wrapping those things up in town, you embarked on the Frayed Knot, newly upgraded with a very fantastical new hull made of enchanted and living wood. Um, After sailing into the Azure Sea, following the course set by Vanya's compass needle floating in the water, you encountered some Shadowfell fog. Um, for about a day or so, or a morning, I believe it was a couple hours. Um, you sailed through it, and once getting out of it, you witnessed a massive black lacquered wood warship with red accents. With a ship at a giant, like reddish bronze horn wrapped around its main mast, and the deck was swarming with with a monstrous crew, including orcs, goblins, kobolds, bugbears, and an ogre, and it was captained by one of the pirate lords known as Thoreau Guldir, a half-dragon pirate captain lord. You guys attempted to run away initially, however, your ship was not as fast, and you began engaging in combat. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, that's my dry erase board where I'm keeping all of my notes. Got a little.
That is a good idea. I don't know why I never did that. I just filled up notebooks with random things.
Well, this is why. This is why, because things get wiped off. Okay. Oh shoot, what was the? I think it's 15. Yeah, there. Those should be like that. Okay, so you guys engaged in combat. You ended up turning around, turning about, and heading head on with it. Hisik stood at the bow, or stood at the side of the ship, flinging arrows with expert precision. And just before the ships met, you ended up disabling the ship with your last arrow. Believe it or not. Vanya, specifically, has been standing at the bow of the ship, flinging waves at the ship, damaging the oars. And Hiss finally got to throw a fireball at the ship, sending monstrous crewmates sent over the edge and being burnt to a crisp. As you and the ship met and passed, the Nasher ended up making a turn to starboard, heading towards the fog again, and that means we start at the top of the round.
I can only see the ship on the turn order. Is it supposed to be that way?
No, but everything is in order on my end.
Okay, that's
Can
fine.
you guys see the map by chance?
Yes.
Okay, I spent a very long time making this one.
Cute little whale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I didn't even do that one. That was just put on just now, I think, by somebody.
The artistic vision is just, it's truly great.
Yeah, I think I captured the waves, the power of the sea.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this is really above and beyond, Brad.
Thanks, man.
This is.
I know.
The only thing it's
Yeah, I was
missing
talking about it
is
just now.
it's missing like a Nessie. Like every single map that has like a sea serpent.
That's right. Turn on a little bit of music, I guess. Gosh, my dog keeps just kind of barking. Be quiet, you dummy. Oh, you know why? Hold on, give me a second.
Oh. Oh no, we lost Brett.
I locked him outside. Alrighty. Alright, so at the top of the turn order, we have the Frayed Knot as a ship. Lucilla, Captain, what is it you would like your ship to do?
Okay, so if my notes are correct, Captain's unconscious. She's been guiding bolted,
Cap
and they're heading into the fog.
is the captain unconscious?
Uh-huh.
That's right, she's getting
Uh,
yanked.
yeah, I used, catapult spell, and that knocked her unconscious. She got hit with a guiding bolt and failed 2 death saves. And they're heading into the fog, which is, that's the grey line, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So at the moment,
Um,
because
so,
so at the moment they're like about 370 feet away. Your current speed ability is about 40 something.
okay,
About
it's
45. Because,
for some reason I thought it was lower than that.
well, it was, but Yuke's been up there um, fixing the sails, and they missed a couple of shots at your sails, so you've kind of gained back a little bit. Well, as their speed is significantly hampered because their sails are not attached anymore. They're completely destroyed, and they're moving on oar power alone at the moment.
Good old Ukala. I basically want to turn the ship to make chase.
Okay. So you can turn 90 degrees per turn,
Okay.
and you can move your full speed, more or less.
Yeah, I'll turn 90 to try and keep up with them.
You want us, and if we can't go.
Was that cat?
I was wondering if we could. We can't without our character sheets or tokens. We can't go in that character order. Turn order.
I guess it depends if there's anything that anyone wants to do. I think this is probably the hardest part of ship fighting. I don't think there's any good way to have both a character token map and also a map for you moving the ship. Can't even wrap my head around how I'd do that. Yeah, that's all I was gonna do with the ship.
Alright, so you spin the wheel as the ships kind of like pull away from each other. You see it turn, you spin your wheel and turn as well, and you take the long, slow turn. I'm not sure they would have been able to go because what was their full speed? Their full speed should have been less than that. Yeah, they're like barely. They're moving really slow. You watch. You look over the side of the ship. You see um, that you are like pulling ahead easily. The wind is catching your sails. They're rowing their oars and but not moving real fast at all. All right, so it's Hiss's turn. Um, Sasha, would you be willing to do Hiss? To play Hiss? I forgot to do that. If not, that's fine. I can.
Favorite thing is just like fire. I don't remember how to throw fire.
Here, let me pull up her thing. Make sure there's no like backstory stuff on here that you can see. Character shape, core. Alright, so as far as spells, what do you think you would do? You said fling some fire or something?
Let's say his would probably fireball or firebolt, depending on her spell level. So.
Okay, yeah, so Hiss runs up to the edge of, well, what's the range on fireball? 150 feet.
Oh.
World's longest range. Alright, so Hiss runs up to the edge of the ship, pushes her hands together, and a small ball of fire just starts growing as her hands grow wider and wider. She, at the last second, plunges her hands out out in front of her, and the fireball flies and arcs out over towards the ship and explodes on the deck, sending sailors flying off the edge and getting burnt to a crisp, just like last time. Let me find. So that drops her down to 1 level 3. So what I'm gonna have her do is roll 3d6. Oh my word. And you watch as just crew members just get incinerated. There seem to be a large amount of people on the deck at this point in time, and 16 of them end up being affected and die.
Why choose anything else when a fireball does that? My god.
Yeah. Okay. Yuke, you're up. You're up in the yardarm, fixing sails. What do you want to do?
Yeah, just continue. He will continue to do repairs, and if he needs to try to move to the next mast or climb further up this one or something.
Sure. Go ahead and do a woodworker's check for me, please. So I think this is probably the last turn you could take on this mast. You're doing a pretty good job fixing it as best you can. Roll 3d6 for me, please. Oh my word! You're just kind of, you realize like you're reaching the end of your abilities on this mast. As far as being mid combat, you've done what you can. You should probably move on. What were your sails at? Gosh darn it! Oh, that's right, because you guys are at like, they got trashed again. Your sails are at like 13 hit points. They're almost dead. I forgot you guys took like a last minute hit, and they would have been totally disabled except for your efforts. So never mind. You could probably continue working on that up there. Let me see here. But if you wanted to move on or do something else, you obviously can. Vanya, you are up. I think you're
Like-
still holding concentration on
Yeah.
control
call
water.
lightning. Call lightning.
Was it Cool Lightning or Control Water?
I think I dropped control
You
water
did.
to call lightning because I hit the
Okay.
captain. And I
Cool
think
Lightning.
And that's what made her go unconscious.
yeah. So you know what? I'll hit her again. I'll hit the guy dragging her.
Okay. So go ahead and cast it for me. Okay. So he is going to. Let's see here. Okay, so as he's dragging the captain, he's pulling her down the stairs down below. You send Call Lightning, targeting him. And he. You can barely see before he disappears beneath the deck of the ship. That he completely dodges it. You watch as your lightning bolt streaks out from the sky and smashes into the ship, sending splinters flying. But when the dust clears, you see him disappear below the deck. He is unaffected. Critical success. Lucilla, you're up.
So he's gone.
Yeah.
Is the captain also gone, or is?
Yes, they're down below the decks now.
I don't think I'm actually in range to do anything, so I'm just gonna stick by the wheel. I think the only. Hold on, what's the range of? Not very long. Okay, no, I'm just gonna stick by the wheel.
Okay, you can do thing. Remember, you can do like shoot.
Yeah, I don't wanna. I don't wanna increase the speed though, because they're.
And I was wrong about your current speed. So, your current speed.
I want to keep up with them. I don't want to go
In front.
ahead of the other ship.
Okay. Let me see here. So you guys are going, I think, against the wind now. So normally your speed would be 45. But you're minus 15. Yeah, so your speed is like 30 at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, if I do the full speed ahead thing, we'll just end up being in front of them and then getting swallowed by the fog, so I will just stay by the wheel and end my turn.
Okay. So 30.
Is the deck of the ship on fire?
No. No, not at the moment. So there are oars. What's there? Okay. Hissik, you're up.
I can target anything. Basically, the first the quarter of the ship would be on the starboard side, front half, right? Front
What's
right
that?
quarter.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I can reach with speed. So I'm going to cast Toll the Dead at the hobgoblins or whatever is up.
Okay, yeah. So you
Here, she
I don't know what their
any
stats
of the
are,
forks
but
product.
we'll see. Yeah, so you watch as you're kind of see the mass of monsters running around on the deck, working. You pick one out in particular who's working uh, one of the guns, and or one of the catapults, and you focus on him, and you just reach out and you touch his mind, and you watch as his hands go up to his ears, and he screams and like stumbles around, and falls off the side of the ship. So you've killed one of the goblins.
I will move back to the kind of the back part of the ship, and I will like to stand next to our fearless captain.
Okay.
You heard that, Charlotte? You're fearless now.
Fearless.
Thanks. I'll add that to my epitaph. I'll give Hisuk a nod of appreciation.
160 feet. So, let's say. So you watch as they turn. You watch as the enemy ship, or the crew on the top, starts turning the guns to target. Your ship. You guys are technically still in range of the mangonels. So let me see how many actions. Alright, so it moves as fast as it can, which is 20 feet on its turn. No, it can move 15 feet. So it keeps racing towards the fog. Just barely moves. And then
Isn't that our ship? It's got it labeled as the
Yeah.
frayed knot.
There we go. Okay, so it keeps just plodding along towards the fog, but it turns all of its guns on you, and it's gonna fire both mangonels at your sails, which is a plus. All right, give me a fucking.
Do we have oars?
No. All right, it critically hits.
My god.
It hits both. Okay, so how many is that? It's going to be 15d10 is what that's going to be.
Why didn't we buy oars? Are oars particularly expensive, or does our ship not have the ability to use them?
Some merchanty ship, but
It would have been. You could have. You could have bought
Okay.
them.
we didn't buy
Okay,
any.
so
We're idiots.
you look as you're up on the crossbar of the sail, trying to get these sails in order. You watch as you hear this, and you look, and you see these two just piles of like flaming rock and debris flying towards you. What do you do?
Well, first I make the expression that's in the Discord, and then I try to.
I like the slow blink as well.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but I'll try to jump out of the way.
Okay.
Before.
You just jumping off the sails. Oh, not 15d20. That's my bad.
That's That's too many.
Holy crap.
That was the wrong dice.
I'm not so
Ah!
fearless.
So who's got that water breathing
Save a
spell?
lot.
It wasn't even that. Holy smokes! 4 tens. Give me a break.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
also 4 9s.
So
That's
you
great. I
you
love our odds.
you see this just mass of stone grape shot, just and you jump. Let me see here. You take 10 bludgeoning damage as you fly off of um, the sail and smash into the deck below, just barely avoiding the rock flying towards the sail. As you turn on or look up, you see just this mass of destructive debris just shred all of the work you've been doing. Your guys' sails are completely destroyed.
Okay, cool.
That's
Anyone
one.
got some bed sheets they want to sacrifice to the greater good?
That's one action. And you also watch as a fireball flies off the ship and starts going towards your ship, towards we'll say the aft of the ship. It targets the aft of the ship.
They're not allowed to have fireballs.
There is a mage on that deck.
Is Hiss within range to counterspell?
She'd have to be able to hear it, and I don't think you would be able to hear it at that distance. So the wind. It's the same reason why I haven't let their mage counterspell your guys's. So,
Okay.
Is it 3d10? Is that the?
Fireball?
Yeah. What is
Fireball.
this?
D6, isn't it?
I just.
Yeah, it's
Are you talking
D6,
about
not
damage, or are you
D10.
talking about...
Yeah, damage.
That was like 8d6.
Yeah.
It is 8d6. I'm sorry.
I know you
Their
want to
mage
kill
has
us, but...
6d6. But
8?
his is an 86.
That's the one. Yep.
Six, 7, 8. Seriously? That's gonna be kind of impossible. Alright, someone do a dexterity check. Well, I guess I'll do it.
For the boat?
For the crew.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, so we'll have it. 29. 15. Alright, so... I don't like how they... So basically they have you do... Well, I won't explain it. I'll say about 10 of the crew gets incinerated.
Oh, shit.
So in one fireball, you guys end up losing 10 of the crew. So you have about 20 crew left. They're flung overboard, charred to a crisp. This is all out war. I would say if you guys were closer, like if you angled toward the ship, you might be able to do counterspell and stuff like that. That's their turn. It's now your turn. It's the ship's turn. And you can't move.
I mean, there's nothing I can do then, is there?
Not really. No.
Be fearless.
So as far as actions, you could fire your stuff, which you don't have, and you can move. As far as the ship is concerned, you can't move.
Can the ship still be turned?
Um,
Or no?
I mean, it's got a rudder, so it can, but it just has no momentum.
I would say you have some momentum. You're still moving, so you would be able to turn, but eventually you probably won't be able to because your movement is based on you being able to, or your turning is based on you being able to move.
Hmm.
There's a term they use for this, and it's called dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope the emphasis isn't on the dead part. I mean, can I do what you said in trying to angle it closer so that Hiss could be within counterspell range?
Yes.
Or is okay.
Yeah,
I want to
I'd
try
say
and
you'd
do
be
that.
able to coast. I'd say you
Yeah,
guys were
I
able
want
to
to try and do that.
coast close enough. You're like close to the ship now.
Might as well. How close are we?
You've expended the majority of, or all of your. You guys are within like 40 feet or so.
Interesting. Interesting.
And this, I mean, it's going. We're going slow here. Like that thing is going like 15 feet a turn, and you guys are going 0 feet. So it's, you know what I'm saying. So as the ships grow closer, you guys can see like the crew lining up on the edge with weapons drawn, snarling, yelling insults at you. You can see smoldering portions of the ship. The blackened decks have even more like where it was black with paint and lacquer. Now it's black with char from Hiss's fireballs. And you can see like on the back of the ship, kind of towards the poop deck, you do see like a um, another kobold, kind of dressed in holding like a spell book, and that you can pretty much identify that as their mage.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so there's a like a kobold mage on like the back of the
Right.
ship. Kobold.
We had only one.
Hiss.
So we're not as special as we thought we were. Okay.
It's Hiss's turn. What do you think?
Gonna take out that other wizard.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
Other wizard will have counterspell as well.
I know.
So you have one third level spell, which is Fireball, which includes your counterspell. Counterspell Fireball, Haste, Life Transference. You have like a magic missile for attack. That's pretty much it for attacks.
Does the kobold look like it's been hit at all?
No.
Fair.
Just magic
Where-
missile it.
Okay.
They counterspell that, then shoot.
Bloop. Bloop, bloop. 3 magic missiles leap out from Hiss and smash into the mage, knocking it back, and dealing it 9 damage. Not bad. Yuke, you're up.
Now that we've gotten closer, Ukala will drop his tools and find his battle axe and his shield because his player hasn't put in the info for the wood beetle's longsword or whatever he has. So,
Okay. So you're going to stand on the deck kind of preparing.
yeah, and hold my action in case someone boards or something for an attack. Kind of stand near, maybe stand near Hiss to make sure no one gets to our mage.
Okay. Vanya, you're up.
Of the crew that got hit in the fireball, is there anyone alive? like just injured? Because if so, I would put a cure wounds in the closest one. But if they're all dead, then no.
Yeah, I would say that you could put a cure wounds into a crew.
All right,
Um,
cool. She'll do a field medic then.
yeah, as you like look around, you see one of the crew members like crawling. Just the right side of his body is just black and charred. You race up, get down on your knees, and put your hands on him. And this like uh, kind of not unexpected electricity comes out of you and starts coursing and playing across his body and having the opposite effect as that electricity might have. And you watch as his pain-racked face first looks down and sees it, and he's scared initially, but he watches as his wounds seem to start knitting back together, skin soothes, and his pain goes away. I'll say you're up to 21 crewmates now. Bloop. All right, Lucilla, you're up.
Okay. Am I able to... hold on. Let me look at the hand crossbow range, because I'm pretty sure it's very short. Yeah, am I able to get within 30 feet of... Next, we're 40 feet away, aren't we? I want to hit the mage with a... Yeah, I might as well do...
It's light and it's 3120, so you could still.
Yeah, so I can hit, but it'll be at disadvantage, and you know how badly I roll.
Yeah.
Screw it. I'll give it a go. I want to use one of the poison charges,
Okay.
and we will see how this goes.
So you reach down and you grab your crossbow. You hear as. So
I
go
want to
ahead.
make sure that I'm 5 feet away from people so I can still get my sneak attack, if that's at all possible. If not, disregard
I
that
think it's a
9.
melee attack
Is it just melee attacks?
with the swashbuckler. I think so.
It doesn't say it has to be a melee attack, but I will
That's
double
alright.
check that.
Then we'll just give it to you. So you fire your crossbow. As the crossbow's loading, you put your bolt in there. You watch as you hear this kind of almost mechanical sound, and you watch as a dose of poison just gets ejected into the groove where the bolt is and coats the poison. You take aim, and the bolt flies across as the mage stands back up. You watch as the bolt sinks into its chest, and takes 9, 7. That's 20 points of damage. Let me see here. Hold on a second. I've heard 15.
It has to take a DC 15 con save.
Yeah. And it definitely failed.
It's poisoned for 1
It is
minute.
poisoned. All right, Hyssek, you're up.
Oh, can I quickly try and hide behind anything?
Sure. Yeah, like what? Yeah, there's stuff on the ship. Like you could jump.
Yeah, just...
Like a piece of broken sail. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Kind of
just...
Well, you
Put
could
the-
like
put the
hide.
wheel between you and everything else, right?
Is the wheel big enough to hide behind?
Yeah,
As if it's
to a
so
certain
short.
degree.
Yeah, sure, I'll give that a go.
Okay. All right. Hyssek, you're
How
up.
many people are on their deck?
Perception check, please. A lot, still. Maybe like 60 or 7. From what you can see, maybe like 25. but you know, like there's people above decks, below decks, but you
Right.
can't get an exact number.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'll stand in a position where I'm blocking Lucilla, but I will ready. Yeah, that's what I'll do, and then I will go ahead and do another Toll the Dead at one that I can see. 9
Another one goes down. You target a kobold this time, and that kobold goes down.
Where is their mage on the deck?
The back, like the poop deck.
Okay, back. Okay. Yeah, that will be. My intent is to block anything, step in front of anything coming at Lucilla.
Okay. All right. So it's the ship's turn, and it's going to move its speed. It's going to turn. It's 90 degrees, and it's going to sail. It's 15 feet. Let me see here. It's going to move. It's 15 feet away from you guys. So in theory, it's maybe about 65 feet away now, and it's attempting to run. It does fire. It's not. It's too far away to like fire its
Ballista.
or its mangonels, but it's gonna fire its ballista at you. It's just gonna shoot the ship in general. So it's D20 plus 5. I'm just gonna So one of them hits, and it's 4d10. Holy smokes. Alright, so it hits the ship for 24 damage as a giant spear just crashes into the side of the ship. You're currently at 148 hit points for the hull.
Okay.
Afraid Not's up. You can't turn and you can't move.
It's just gonna. Afraid Not's just gonna sit there and slowly try and heal itself. That's it.
Okay.
That's all it's doing.
Hiss is up. She has 1/3 level, 2 first level, and 3 second levels.
The Cobalt Mage died, just making sure.
No, it's still alive.
She'll just try to like pew pew firebolt it.
Firebolt. Does hit for 13 more damage. Still alive though. Yukala, you're up.
Seeing that the ship is, seeing that the other ship is moving, he'll try to gather up his tools and look at the desecration that once was our sails and see if there's anything he can do.
make an investigation check, or you could just do a woodworker's check, like for knowledge, I guess.
Woodworkers check or do you want me to? I could do woodworkers, but change it to intelligence or something, or just a regular.
Yeah, just do woodworker's check. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think I did it twice.
So, as you watch the enemy ship kind of sailing off, you take a minute to breathe, and you start looking up at the masts and the tattered sails, the broken wood. You performed admirably keeping the ship moving. It was almost a miracle. What you were doing is basically a miracle. As you look at what you see now, there is going to be some extensive repairs required to get the ship moving again.
All right.
It's a little bit more than just like patching it up at the moment.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured.
Anything else?
No, just maybe see if there's any crew members around that are injured or thing, and if so.
There definitely are. Yeah, you could.
Okay, I'll go to the nearest one and see if I can help him or her stabilize.
Do you have a medicine kit, by chance?
No. No.
Then roll like a medicine check with disadvantage. Then.
Okay. Oops. Was it? No, it's a skill.
Yeah. So I think you see another crew worker like leaning against the mast, bleeding, but you're really not really able to help out all that much. Without you kind of look around for bandages, you see some tattered sails. You use those, but you can't really get him back in the fight, more or less. Vanya, you're up.
She's still on Red Cross duty, so she'll probably say ook freaking out and try to pump a cure wounds in that guy too.
Okay, so you cast Cure Wounds on him. Because you're frantically trying to stop this bleeding with the sail. Vanya rushes up next to you, gets down on one knee, places a hand on your shoulder, nods, and puts her hand on this soldier and is able to, or this sailor is able to heal him and get him back going again. So you now have 22 total crew members. Lucille?
I'm gonna try and do the same thing again. As long as they're still within 120 feet.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You pop back out from your hiding spot.
Gonna do another poison charge.
Okay. Absolutely. 15, 8, and 1. So you send your bolt across the sea, and you watch as it slams into the forehead of the mage, sending it crashing down to the deck in a heap of bone and floppy muscle. It dies.
Nice. I'm gonna hide again.
All right, go ahead and do yep. Hisik, you're up.
This crossbow is awesome.
Whoever's driving that other ship, I'm going to hold it in again.
Okay. They cannot. 11 and 4. Should just be the 11 because they haven't taken damage yet, right? That's what the other one is.
Right.
So it's a bugbear, and you watch as it reaches its hands up to its ears. Blood spurts out between, but it doesn't die. And keeps. It's extremely hurt, though. Alright, the ship continues to sail away. So we'll do it from the back of the ship, I guess. It's like, why move them? I made the scale too small. And that's that. The enemy ship continues to try to run away. Lucille, go ahead and do a perception check, I suppose. The captain is afraid not. Yeah, you're pretty sure. Watching the crew from where you're at and seeing the just the attitudes that you can ascertain, that the fight seems to have gone out of them and they are trying to bail out of it.
I'll follow. Oh. Wait. Cool. Good to know.
Hiss is up.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you fireball at the waterline of their hull?
You could. But the way we would probably just treat it as you're just doing damage to the hull.
Right.
Unless you got like a critical something.
Would it be able to? If you're doing that to create a hole to sink the ship. I don't know.
Potentially. I mean, you could give it a shot.
I feel like it just depends on how damaged the hull is overall.
Yeah, their hull is looking pristine at the moment.
There's not really a mechanic in place for just creating sinkable holes.
Yeah, the mechanic in theory is this ship has a bunch of hit points, and when you get a bunch of them, when they go away, the ship sinks because there's a hole. It's destroyed. So.
Yeah.
But we can amend stuff. So what would Hiss be doing?
Good question.
2 first level, 3 seconds, and 1/4, and 1/3.
What can she do at 4th?
I kind of hesitate giving away her spell list.
No, okay, that's fair enough. Do you want to just go with another fireball just to send?
Like we know they have.
Well, just a send off, yeah.
Okay, so your last 3rd level spell. They have no mage to deal with it. They're too far away, anyways. As she sends one last fireball rocketing over the ocean, smashing into the deck, you watch as more of the crew are just completely incinerated. And with that, I'm going to say with your guys' inability to chase, you guys would probably be like exchanging some kind of fire. Most of the crew is disappearing below the decks. It's getting harder and harder to target people as they're crouching down below the railings of the ship, trying to find hiding spots so they can't see your deck. You guys are gonna kind of stay floating adrift, and they're going to sail away out of range. You watch as the Gnasher gets out of range, turns slowly as it reaches the borderline of the fog and disappears into it. But just before that happens, Lucilla, as you're standing at the helm of your own ship, you hear a voice. This isn't the last time we'll meet, Captain. And the ship disappears into the fog.
I look around. Did anyone else hear that? Or just me?
Just you.
I heard Brad say it.
It was like the voice sounded female and like growly, almost draconic in nature.
Okay, I'm assuming that was like message or sending or something. Damn it. I'll tell them about it later. First, what can we do to get sailing again?
So you yell that out to the crew.
Yeah, I'll like direct it to the sort of
To Thrak.
technical people.
Yeah, so there's Thrak, who is the
Sorry, I forgot his name.
The dwarven bosun, plus there's Yukala as well.
Yeah.
They're able to ascertain that you probably need about a day's worth of work to get the ship sailworthy again.
Okay. Do the masts heal themselves? They don't, do they? It's literally just.
It's the hull of the ship. It's
just
basically the hit points of the hull. Well.
Okay. That makes sense. So the hull will repair itself, the sails will not. How are the sails like in absolute tatters, or do they look like they could?
They are completely destroyed. But Gore, being a decent captain, you guys have extra supplies. It's pretty standard to be carrying extra sailcloth, rope and rigging, things that you need to repair sails. The masts themselves are okay. The sails, however, need to be replaced. And then there's extra cross beams and whatnot. You guys would be able to fix it, but it's going to take about a day of work.
So you said which way is the flow of the water going?
As far as a current is concerned, there really isn't anything real strong going on there.
Okay.
Just kind of sitting stationary.
I'm just gonna try and keep an eye out and see if anything like a current presents itself. I don't want to go back into the fog, so I'm gonna try and direct it away from there as much as possible. If I can't do anything, then I'll just keep an eye out.
Okay. So, what's everyone doing? So, you guys will take a day to try to work on the ship, fix things. In that period of time, what's everyone kind of doing?
Disick will try to fish to help feed people. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I can get the Kraken.
Roll a wisdom check and like a dexterity check, I guess. Just flat for both of those. You're moderately successful. I think you're able to pull up in total maybe about 10 fish of different sizes.
Well, now that the crew's half as many as it was, that's a lot more fish.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. No, you guys lost 8 crew members in total. Let me see here. Where? All right, so Lucilla, I'm gonna have you roll a charisma check. Hold on a second. Here. So we're going to do a quality check for the crew. They'd just been through Shadowfell Fog, came out and fought a crazy sea battle with a pirate lord. Go ahead and roll a d20 and add 4 to it. Plus 4.
Okay.
And then Yukala, I want you to roll a woodworker's check with advantage, please. Because you and Thrak are working together, having 2 bosuns on the ship. You guys are able to help each other direct your crew to fix the sails and fix the wooden beams and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Looks like Roll20 disconnected from me. Just give me 1 second. I'll do that.
What?
So I'd say you were able to cut down most of that time with an 18. You and Thrak and the crew working together, you guys, in the fear of the ship coming back, wanting to get as fixed up as possible before they could return, you guys, by the time night fell, you guys were able to get a working sail system up and going, and you're able to get moving again. However, Lucilla, as you're kind of watching throughout the day, keeping tabs on the crew, giving orders to Gore and him relaying them to the crew, you notice that the crew does seem... You're just kind of catching some random looks, especially when the dead crew are bound up in canvas and sent over the edge. The crew looks uncertain and worried. And rightfully so, but it seems like their morale has definitely took a hit.
Okay.
They're not. Like our captain.
So as far as like morale is concerned, like things like shore leave, maybe parties or festivals, really good things happening, that can affect the crew's positive morale, make it more positive, and adversely, bad shit happening can make it plummet. So, anyways, ultimately, you guys are able to get back on track, sailing out into the open ocean. Night falls. what are you guys doing with the rest of like your time? It's evening, stars come out, the sun has disappeared beneath the horizon. You sail off again east and south across the Azure Sea. Weather looks good. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Bob Ross is not near.
Vanya would probably just help the emo surgeon, I guess, make sure people are still alive.
The
Tending
emo.
to wounded, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
the Cerberus
emo
snake.
surgeon.
yeah, and
The
Linneman
ship.
is kind of like going about tending to wounds with a dour face, a dour expression, as if he couldn't be bothered. But you do notice, Vanya, as you're going about helping him, that he does have skill, and he's definitely helping the crew, albeit he's just complaining the whole time. And most of them kind of shrink away from him in this kind of lank hair and greasy demeanor. Anybody else? Anything in particular?
Kala would like to find Lucilla once it's like dark enough that he and Thrak can't get much done for the day.
Okay.
I was gonna come find him, so
Come. All right.
that
Oh,
matches
really?
up. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right.
So, Captain, were those? I take it those were pirates of some sort. Do you know who they were?
Not personally. A lot of people who encounter those sorts don't exactly live to tell the tale. So we're very lucky. I've heard of them. I was hoping you wouldn't encounter them whilst being unarmed. But thankfully you managed to keep the sails up for as long as possible.
Yeah, they're still a bit of a mess, but I think they're salvageable.
Don't know what we would have done without you. Or everyone, for that matter. But we're very lucky to still be standing. You doing okay?
Yeah,
Well,
I
kind of.
mean,
You were up there when they got hit.
no, I think I fared a little better than the sales, but to be honest, it's nice to have something to do now. Thrak and I were growing a bit mad, to be honest, with this ship that sews itself together. It's a bit odd, but got a good
The
day's work in
sails.
today.
Yeah, the sails still need your help. We haven't quite made them self-repairing just yet. I've been meaning to talk to you about something since we left port.
And what would that be, Captain Twinkletoes?
Your friend, the tattoo artist. I may have spent some time with her in the week that we were in Saltmarsh, and she had some interesting things to say.
You saw Natali. How did you manage that? Every time I went by her shop, there was a line out the door.
Oh, there was. Gave her an interesting idea for a tattoo, and she seemed like she wanted to do that ahead of everyone's boring anchor and mermaid ideas. So I managed to sneak in past the queue.
You waited until they closed.
She... Yeah. Sorry. you
Sorry,
go.
my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got a tattoo.
I did. I've been having some issues with my direction. So I got something to remind myself that I'll work it out. It's really still kind of sore. The salt air does something for the healing, but it's still kind of painful. I won't lie.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
She had some strange ideas of what our relationship was, which I found highly amusing. But I'm just wondering if she was really just a friend to you.
I'm not sure what she was.
Seems like she wasn't either.
I literally, I found her, I suppose, or rather, they found her for me. He kind of like puts a finger to his forehead. You know, the dead people that follow me around.
Yes.
So I almost wonder if she had an ancestor or something and who belonged to a clan or a tribe that was somehow related to or tied to or allied with my ancestors or my clan, wherever it is I came from. I don't pretend to understand it, honestly. Like you, I've always had a bit of trouble when it comes to direction. Not everyone has a golden compass arrow, I suppose. And even then, sometimes you run into pirates and fog.
I think, should we actually survive all of this mess and make it back to Salt Marsh, maybe it seems like you have some unfinished business that could be worth reconciling, because I have no allegiances to her, so I'll just tell you. It wasn't a mistake that you were caught at the back of the queue whenever you tried to talk to her.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I'm not sure what that's about. But
Seems like, yeah, she had things she wasn't sure she wanted to talk to you about, and far be it from me to play a matchmaker, but I'm all about dealing with unfinished business, and I think you shouldn't go through life without trying to tie up the loose threads before you go on your way. So if you get a chance, I'd recommend trying to talk to her and seeing if you didn't miss out on something. So possibly wrapped up with all of the ghosts and the ancestors and all of that sort of mess, that maybe you're missing things as they pass you. Granted, it's a very dramatic thing to be wrapped up in. I see why it would be distracting. out to be normal as well, though.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what that would mean, but I suppose it's worth a try. When and if we get back to Saltmarsh.
I mean, you can try and have tonight as your practice for relaxing a little bit. I think you've done enough work today. Your captain relieves you of your duties for the time being.
Thanks for that. I think our crew's a little worse for wear as well.
Yes, I might see if we've got any stores of something that might help them forget, at least for one evening.
But hey, we turned away the pirates, right? That's something.
For now. I was left with a parting message, though.
Really?
I am assuming no one else heard this but me. There was a voice in my head as the ship was leaving that this won't be the last time that I'll be seeing that captain. So that's a fun thing to look forward to.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad the ship didn't go down and the captain didn't go down with the ship, but I think I'm gonna get some shut-eye.
It's a good idea.
Have a good night, Captain.
And you.
Oh, sorry.
There's a dog on the ship.
As you guys are having this conversation, Vanya Gore comes and finds you, and Vanya, I've never asked you in our conversations before. I've been a little preoccupied with how the island and this journey is affecting me, I suppose. Never asked, how goes it with you? How do you feel about what's going on?
Sailing to an unknown island in the middle of nowhere.
Just being chosen by a god, truthfully, I'm not sure if it's all real, of course, but
A something, yeah.
something or nothing, whatever it is that's getting us to sail across the world to go back to this place. Place I've been to, but you haven't. There's a lot of questions and unknowns for you, but how are you doing with that?
Honestly, as crazy and as dangerous as everything's happened, like, in some ways it's kind of the best I've felt in a long time. Because I know it sounds insane, but I spent my whole life chasing something that was always really unattainable to me for reasons far outside my own control. And I don't know, kind of feeling it weighs on you after a while. So that's why fate's such a funny thing, you know? I finally got used to the fact that, like, okay, I'm just gonna be Vanya, the ordinary Vanya, the person who's just got to get her life going. And then, bam. Suddenly that's when lightning strikes. And suddenly I have a golden compass. I have a direction for, like, the first time ever. And could things go horribly wrong? Absolutely. And I'm a little terrified of that, but I mean, I gotta look. I know what the alternative is, and I don't appreciate it, so.
Meaning directionlessness, or
Yeah, exactly.
well, ordinary is not how I would describe you. Not in the least.
Not anymore. That's not the way I was born, trust me. And it's one thing when you're like, nothing's expected of you. But when everything's expected of you and you present nothing, then, well, that's a very different story.
Hmm. I feel like I can relate. Those on the island, they almost saw me as some sort of, there were many that came with compass needles, many that came to the island and left on their, well, whatever it was. Like I said before, I've never was allowed to be involved in that, which was frustrating. But the followers of Vogan on the island all kind of saw me as some kind of, I don't know, the destined one. The Eye, the lead priest, he went and found me. So there was this pressure, this expectation. And I didn't know what to do with that, I think.
Yeah, you felt like you didn't live up to it.
Yeah, and I didn't have any special abilities or powers. I wasn't even allowed to be involved by by my father. It was all very confusing. I think that's why I was looking for something else. Sailing, captaining a ship, leaving the island, and ultimately not being able to return. But I suppose some of those questions will be answered when we get there. I am excited to see my father again after 15 years. And
It's a long time.
yeah.
You know, I
I,
never did slay. I think in that room when we were in your head a while ago, I was the one that saw the memory of the masked man who I think killed who may have been your mother. I'm sorry about that. That's personal, but I gotta know, did you ever find Ben?
no. Um,
Have you looked?
Not really. It's part of my life that I feel both tainted by, but unconnected to as well. Obviously, I don't remember anything of her. I just have flashes of memory from that night. You know, I would have no idea where to start. I mean, I've kept my ears open, but I've never really come up with anything.
Fair, but you're helping me find my thing, so if you ever do need help, let me know. I'm pretty good with lightning.
Yeah, you are. I will. Well, hopefully we get to the island soon. It is a wonder to behold, if you can believe it. There are lizards on the island that are ginormous, but friendly, interestingly enough. And the people themselves, they are, though strange at times, they are the good people, the good folk. It'll be good to be back. Anyways, it's been a long day. Have a good night, Vanya.
Night, boy.
Anything else that anyone might want to do, perchance? Okay. The night, ultimately, you guys go to bed. And you wake up in the morning to an exclamation from the crow's nest. Land ho! Land ho! Everyone kind of runs up onto the deck. Lucilla, Gore had taken over the wheel for the night. You come out onto the deck with everyone else, and in the distance, you see an island on the horizon. And as you guys sail closer and closer to it, details become more apparent. What was first just the fuzzy colors and haze on the horizon becomes cliffs, unlike anything you've seen before. As you sail in, you see that the island itself is built up on top of what appears to be like about 100 or so foot cliffs made of glittering black obsidian. Gore stands, on top of those cliffs. You can kind of see, peeking out over the top of them, you see lush green jungle forests. It is getting on towards the tail end of fall, but it appears as if there's kind of like a temperate climate here. The air still feels warm and tropical. The peak of a massive volcano dominates the island itself. You see, as you sail around the southern edge of the island, you watch as there's this. Hold on a second. You see a break in the obsidian cliffs. And beyond that, you see what appears to be a large cove protected from the waves that crash against these huge obsidian cliffs. As you sail closer to the cliffs and closer to the mouth of this cove, which more or less is situated beyond about a 50, maybe a 75-foot wide gap between these cliffs. You see that lightning, as you peek in at these glittering cliffs, you see lightning bolts and electricity just kind of arcing along the outside and even inside the rock itself. There's a lighthouse built on top of the cliffs. You can see to the east of that volcano a large and tall ridge denoting a mountain range that runs like north-south along the island. As you move into the cove itself, the seas, which were kind of rough against the obsidian cliffs, kind of calm down in this protected area, and you see a beautiful white sand beach. The obsidian cliffs kind of disappear at where the beach starts, and you can see lush green jungle forest. You hear the buzzing of insects, and however, you do notice that there are dark black clouds that extend over the entirety of the island. And as you look at the peak of the the volcano. There's like concentration of these dark clouds. They almost look like storm or rain clouds, but they almost have like a liquid viscosity to them. You watch as red lightning jumps from cloud to cloud, and you watch as it occasionally is striking the mountain itself. You guys pull into the cove, and as you look over the edge, you see a beautiful reef down below the waterline. Tropical fish, large and small, swim in abundant amounts. You drop the anchor, and it gains purchase on the ocean floor. Gora kind of looks up. I've never seen clouds like those before. Great. Rain on our first day. Anyways.
It's
All
not
right.
acid rain or anything, is it?
Oh, well, it's not raining at the moment.
No, I'm
You do.
asking him if, like, the island
Oh.
produces acid rain.
Oh, no. I mean, to be fair, it's a tropical island. It rains quite often. It's almost constantly raining up on the mountain peaks and the volcano itself. It's actually where our fresh water comes from. It flows down from the mountainside and creates a river that runs through the rift. It widens out towards the base, feeds the jungle, and plunges off of a huge waterfall into the ocean. Had we continued to sail around the island, we would have seen it, but and perhaps we can do that later. It rains a lot here. Let's just say that.
Great.
It's good to be back. Welcome to Vogan's Hold. Well, Captain, what's next?
Well, you know this island better than any of us. Where's the best place to go in at?
So we can put in here, take the longboats up to the sands there at the beach. It's more or less protected. The people here are good, as I've said before, so there's no worry about our ship being stolen. So we can leave our longboats on the ocean or on the beach. And there's a trail, and he kind of denotes this area of the beach. On the southern end of the beach, the trail climbs up into to a little bit higher elevation into the jungle, and we can make our way towards the village from there.
Alright. Let's do that. Any wildlife we should be aware of?
Yes. There are large lizards. Some of them do eat meat, but for whatever reason they have seemed to leave us alone. Other than that, you're just standard fare. Although I would say that they do grow a little bit bigger here. Things in general. This island was created by Vogan himself. We don't know how long ago. I was told we came here maybe 100 years ago or so. So it first belonged to the animals and was maybe, according to legend, a private retreat for Vogan himself. But I've never seen him, personally.
Is that normal with all the lightning-y bits, like the lightning around the rocks and all that?
No, I've never seen that before, but it is a god's island. Again, there are huge lizards here. I mean, there are things that happen that are unexplained. It's unseen, but not unexpected.
Right.
Or at least I'm not surprised by it. So what's the plan, Captain? What are we doing?
Uh, what Gore said we should do using the boats to get to. Yeah. I can't remember exactly what he said, but we'll do that.
All right. Aye, Captain. Ready the longboats. We're putting ashore. Don't worry, crew. I know we've had a rough day. Rough couple of days. But we'll soon be among good company. He does turn. I suggest that we just come. The main crew comes aboard. I'll come with you. Thrack, take care of the ship, and we'll go make ourselves known. And then we'll come back and get the crew later. Be patient, he says after he hears the grumbles emanating from the crew. Anyways, you guys put the boats down into the water. You guys get in and are rowed to the soft white sands of the beach. Hold on. Once off the boats, you guys can do as you please. He more or less sends the boats back to the ship, and you guys walk along the length of the beach. You see seashells. You do see tropical birds flying and sitting in trees. Birds of an incredible color, of an unbelievable variety. And size. They are bigger than most birds that you've seen, and these types of birds that you've seen before. Some of them you've never seen before at all. That seem maybe unique to this island. You make your way along the beach, and to the trail. Ultimately, you get to the end of the beach, and there's a dirt trail that leads into the jungle. Looks like they've been getting lax. Gore pulls out his sword and starts hacking away at some minor undergrowth that's kind of encroaching on the trail itself. All right, we can follow this trail up to the southern spoke, make our way through the cave. On the other side will be the village, towards the sea cliffs. If we turn north at the junction, we can head straight to the temple, across the bridge. If we turn south, we'll head to the village itself. As you guys are kind of standing there, you do hear like loud kind of roars in the distance. That's them. We call them dinosaurs. These creatures. You'll hear them.
Lizards?
What's that?
The meat-eating lizards?
Yes, most of them don't eat meat. They eat each other and reproduce and live normally.
And we just landed on Tomb of Annihilation.
Don't think I didn't look at those maps. You can't. There are certain map packs you can buy, and you can upload them from D&D. like you can upload the Dungeon of the Mad Mage maps. You can just buy the maps and upload them without all like the supplemental material. But you can't do it with any of the other ones. I don't know why. It kind of bugs me. And you can add them as an add-on. I'm hoping they do that for all the maps. Anyways, you guys start making your way into the jungle. You hear the sounds of bugs and birds, and you brush through giant ferns and tall palm trees and hanging vines. As you move through the jungle, the sun itself is mostly blotted out. You see singular rays kind of punch their way through, illuminating small portions of the jungle below, of the jungle floor below. You more or less, you travel, so each grid on here is about a mile, but it takes a little bit longer to cut through using the trails. They don't seem as well kept, but ultimately after a couple miles of travel, you find yourself running up to and parallel to what looks to be like cliffs of obsidian and volcanic rock that reach another like 50 feet high, almost even with the jungle top itself. As you look at these, it almost looks like a long wall that stretches off into the jungle. The jungle has kind of grown up to it and around it. As you look at the obsidian itself, again, kind of like the cliffs, you see almost sparks and electrical current seem to be moving inside of it, dancing from point to point, from crack to crack, fractal to fractal. Ultimately, you move through the desert and you come to almost like a tunnel that reaches out straight through. As you look eastbound through it, you can see a pinpoint of light in the distance, maybe about a half of a mile off. So this is one of the spokes. Back when the island was created, the legend tells that Vogan directed the flow of the lava and cooled it supernaturally to make these walls or spokes. 50-foot tall, cooled lava to denote different portions of the island itself. He also bored passageways through, like this one, for travel. And as you're kind of standing there at the mouth of the cave, you see that the trail continues north. This trail continues on. If you follow it, eventually you can reach the lighthouse, different portions of the island. About a mile and a half or so from here, there's another junction that will take you either to the lighthouse itself or up towards the actual hold of Vogan built into the side of the volcano. But this way, and he starts walking through the tunnel eastbound. And as you guys get maybe about 100 yards in, you hear the sound of rain, thunder, and you look behind you and you see rain pelting down on the ground. Well, at least we'll stay dry in here. Gore's voice echoes as you move through this tunnel. It's smooth completely, in complete juxtaposition to the sharp and angular obsidian of the outside of the spoke, as it's called.
What sources of light do we have in here?
Just kind of like the light from behind you, and then ahead of you about a half mile off in any dark vision you might have. Gore pulls out a torch and lights it as you walk, and as you do so, you're able to almost like see into the walls themselves. The firelight reflects off, but it almost gets sucked in to the walls, deep and black as you look. It's almost like looking into space. And again, you can see lightning just
Pretty cool.
in the future, or not in the future, but in the distance, inside the rock itself, just sparks of lightning, rivulets of electricity that jump and spark and move.
There's static electricity everywhere.
Just
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
everyone's
our hair's
hair.
just going
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
hair just kind of stands on end.
Lucilla has so much hair. It's just, they look like a pineapple or something.
Gore pulls out a balloon, rubs it on its head, sticks it to the wall. The marvels of Vogan's Hold.
What would balloons even be made out of in D&D times? Like
Probably
a
like a
sheep's
bladder
stomach?
or
Sheep's
something,
bladder,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you've got like a
Cast levitate on
pig's
it.
bladder. Nice.
So you guys move through the tunnel. By the time you reach the other side, the rain has stopped. Well, the island's like that. Rain for 5 minutes and be done. You guys continue back into the jungle, under the jungle canopy, and you reach another junction at the trail. Here. The trail juts off, one north, one south. Alright, decision time. Village to the south, or temple to the north?
I'll look to Vanya.
Should probably go to the village. I guess introduce ourselves so we don't get pelted with arrows or something on the way to the temple.
Alright. So you guys turn south on the trail and make your way through it. A short distance down the trail, you see that the landscape changes, and you come to a tall wall of just normal stone cliffs that rise up out of the jungle canopy completely. Pretty tall, to the point where you can't even see them through the jungle canopy. Gore leads you down to the base of the cliff, about a half mile from the junction. And there you see a wooden walkway built into the side of the cliffs itself. As you look, it zigzags up the cliffside and disappears through the jungle canopy above. But everyone go ahead and do perception checks for me.
Oh boy, my favorite. Oh boy! Eaten by giant lizard.
So Vanya and Yukala, you see Gore's face kind of turn down a little bit, and as you inspect the I guess it would be an investigation check. But as you investigate and look at the walkway, you notice that the walkway itself seems to be in a state of disrepair. Basically they're just planks set up perpendicular to the wall, lashed together with supports that brace it against the wall and allow people to walk on it. But you see that in places that there are gaps in the walkway completely, where portions of the walkway have completely collapsed and fallen down. Others are covered in moss and vines. Specifically in this below the canopy area, it seems as if the jungle has kind of retaken this portion. This is not how it should look. Gore kind of turns and looks concerned. Um, and he gets up onto the walkway and starts moving up the cliff side.
Yeah, she'll just stick close behind and we'll follow. I'm
Then
gonna keep an eye out though if I see anything like eyes or something watching us.
okay.
Ukala's gonna keep an eye out on these planks to make sure they're actually like can hold human-sized
Okay.
Who
persons.
thought, who thought a woodworker would be so useful?
I know, right?
I know everyone needs a carpenter, guy.
Making it happen.
Yeah.
So as you guys climb up about 60 feet up or so, you kind of push your way through the jungle treetop. You get the impression from Gore that this should all be trimmed. It shouldn't be this hard to push their way through the jungle treetop. And as you kind of push your way through the last layer of jungle and walk up, you look out across the jungle and you just see it's almost like an ocean of green stretching off into the distance. To the west, you see the spoke. You can't really see the cliff face runs this way, like east-west. So if you look out to the east, you see the waterfall that Gore was talking about. This rush of water plunging over the edge of the obsidian cliffs into the ocean below. You see more jungle stretching off towards the east and the northeast, and you can see the tops of the mountains stretching off northward. You can see the start of what looks to be, surprisingly, a desert landscape. Tall desert dunes stretch out to the northeast, but disappear around the base of these mountains that you can see. You don't see much of what's over here, but you can see the cove in the distance, your ship floating small in the distance as well. This is the lighthouse here. As you look up, you see that the sun and the wind and the elements has really seemed to have an effect on the walkway. Larger portions of the walkway seem to have collapsed, leaving large gaps of 10 feet or more. You see, as you look above you see cliffside dwellings made of stone built into the rock face itself. At the very top of the walkway, you can see small and in the distance larger buildings. One of those is my father's residence, the one at the top. The large building below it is the temple, or one of them. This is not... He turns. Something's wrong. This is not how it should be.
Have we seen anybody yet? Like any signs of people?
You haven't. Well, at least you haven't seen anybody. So you keep
Yeah.
walking up, and you come to a large gap of maybe 10 feet. Are you guys on this new map?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is more or less what it looks like. So you guys are kind of around here now.
That is crazy. Is it almost vertical?
It is. Yeah, the cliff face are vertical, and everything's kind of built into the side.
No, thank you.
And you're about 70 to 80 feet up at the moment.
Are we sure we want to meet these people? They might be absolutely bonkers if their living situation is anything to go by. That's out of character.
I'm sure they're bonkers, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go talk to the people living on the side of a mountain.
Because our group is so normal, and
Yeah, we're so normal. We're so normal.
Yeah, we got kicked out of the city. Like,
Yeah. where are we on this at the moment?
So you guys are at the base here.
Base. Okay.
Hey guys, let's take like
As we
a quick bathroom break. Sound okay? Does that
okay.
sound fine?
Yeah.
Just quick.
Sounds good.
All right, we're
I am back.
all right. Sorry, I'm back.
I think it's literally just us two that are back.
Dino droppings. It's from Jurassic Park.
A lot of shit.
That's a lot of shit. That? What's the actual line? That is one ginormous pile of shit. That's what he says.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time. I need to rewatch it.
It holds up, man. It's a good movie.
I kind of put it in the realm of stuff like the original Jumanji.
Talking
Where it's
about
just talking about Jurassic Park.
that is a good movie.
My wife has watched our weather's changing more to be fall like, and when that happens, my wife and the daughter get hooked on Halloween movies. And
Oh yeah.
my wife has like 3 times in the last week watched Practical Magic, maybe 2 weeks. And I haven't. She's not here, so I can say this. Sandra Bullock is fine.
Yeah, she's fine, I guess. She's okay.
She's okay.
She is, she's an actress. Let me see here.
I haven't
But
actually
my
watched
daughter
that movie.
watches Hocus Pocus. Like it goes, like she could do Hocus Pocus every day, starting 1 October.
I like her. I approve.
All right, so you guys, is this everybody? Brett.
I don't think Brett
Right.
Sasha, you here?
I'm
Yeah,
back.
I hit back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
here. So you guys walk
Okay.
up to the edge here.
Are those holes in the walkway actually there?
Yes. So as you walk up to the edge here, you have about 10 feet to somehow traverse if you want to continue. You're looking at a 70-foot drop, so to speak.
Ukala, get your carpentering skills at play. Bridge the gap.
Yeah, sure. That would take a considerable amount of time, and I'm not familiar with the type of wood they have around here.
Oh, what you see.
Any rope?
Everyone has rope.
Yeah,
I
alright.
I would I would maybe we tether each other off.
How many of us are there? Is it just us and Gore, or did other people come along?
Yeah, it's just you and Gore for now.
Okay.
That's doable.
And like how big are is like that gap, like great gap?
How what?
How wide is that gap?
It's the same. It's about 10 feet.
Oh, 10 feet. I feel pretty confident about leaping over all of them.
I'm sure you do. What about the
Monk? Yeah, monk's fine, but
what about those of potentially small stature?
Well,
I say looking at
if
his.
we are all tethered off, then basically you have to scale. I would think scale the wall. Can't fall if
Okay. If we tether Hiss in a certain way, is she just going to be held up by rope
I'm
tension?
thinking put her in the middle, and she's never really touching the ground.
Yeah. Just little legs.
So,
throw
according
it.
to the
Jeez.
player's guidebook, you can run. If you run 10 feet, you can jump as high as your strength score, or jump as far as your strength score.
Right?
So, if you have a strength score of 8, that would be a bummer. Or 9.
Doesn't Hiss have like a strength score of like 6 or something ridiculous?
Rather small.
Yeah.
We throw Hiss.
Right.
It's fine.
SMOL, small.
This is turning into that scene in the third Lord of the Rings
Like-
movie
I
where
know.
the dwarf's like, toss me.
Toss me!
Uh-oh.
Don't tell the elf!
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got you.
I do hear you.
So wait, if I've
Are
got
we-
a strength score of 11, that means I can jump 11 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
So we
Bo-
got
bonus follow-up question is how high above us is the like second tier of like where this number 2 is? Like if we had like an agile monk or someone who was able to get all the way up there, would a rope reach down to where we are, or is that are we too far?
So you
off
each
at
carry
below?
50 feet of rope, correct? So I'd say it's about another. It's not that. It's probably double that. It's probably 40 feet to get up there. So, 5, 10 feet, 10, 20.
Doesn't
It's about 40
Hiss
feet.
have? Doesn't she have the ability to like polymorph herself into like some giant eagle thing? Didn't she do that before?
Yes, his has polymorphed before.
Oh, I think that's her only
Fourth
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 level,
level spell that we've
right.
seen at least.
Yeah.
Polymorph. The most OP freaking spell.
Hell yes.
So she could do that.
I once polymorphed a guy into like a bug, and then stuffed him in like the crack of a cliff, and then I stopped concentrating on the spell.
Oh, that's good.
Oh boy.
5 bludgeoning damage. You know, like you're just done. You just come squirting out the hole. Anyways.
Oh, has anyone read Jinji Ito at all?
Uh-uh.
Oh.
It's a
Yeah, just
horror
last night.
manga. Yeah, he's a horror manga artist and he's very popular, but there's one that he does about people getting stuck in cracks in a cliff, and
No, thank
it's
you.
awful.
Yeah, sounds
It's the
terrible.
worst.
Yikes.
Horror manga.
Yeah, it's pretty. If you ever look at any of his stuff, you just need to look at it once to understand why it's so disturbing, because everything looks disgusting
Yeah.
on
There you go.
purpose, but still.
So measurements are pretty standard here.
Okay. So do we still want to be roped up if we're gonna do run and jump?
You're also like jumping up a little bit. You're gaining elevation too. So maybe a little harder than just running and jumping. Not too much more, but there might be a little bit of a skill check involved.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
I would think that with the rope though, I know I can clear all of them, but I can step of the wind or whatever and double my long jump.
Alright, show off.
So then at that point in time, we get people across, and then the weaker jumpers will be last, and we just pull them across.
Pull them over.
Well, no, we could have his, like, as backup turn into an eagle or something, just catch anyone who falls.
There you go.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Sorry, Chip, if this wasn't what you would have done.
I know, it's your fourth
Could
level spell.
could
I'm
could
sorry.
Hiss could Hiss transform into like an Aarakocra?
No, I think it has to
No,
be a
it needs-
beast.
Has to be a beast
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
until you get true polymorph, and then it's nuts.
Do whatever you
It can
want.
be whatever you want.
Yeah, dragon, whatever. Yeah.
Beholder.
Wow.
Nuts. It's a crazy spell.
Pretty baby, she could fly.
Hiss
Or
will
climb really well.
do whatever needs to be done.
You can fly. You can fly.
So Hiss kind of crouches down, and you watch as she turns into as this like purplish smoke swirls up from around her, and totally encapsulates her, and then like it folds in on itself and smashes down like a wave of smoke. And before you stands a giant eagle. Can she change into a giant eagle? I think so, right?
Did last time.
Yeah, giant
Yeah,
eagle.
she carried people last time.
Yeah, a giant
Pterodactyl.
eagle.
That's what the critical folks always do.
Yeah.
Pterodactyl.
Well, she
Giant island.
Does D&D have pterodactyls?
yes.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Even as you speak, you hear like a crashing noise, and you look down into the jungle trees below, and you watch as some of the trees just you watch as they move, as you hear giant heavy footsteps moving along the cliff. Eventually they'll walk away along the cliff, but the trees move, and you can ascertain there's something large down there that's walking around the jungle somewhere.
Brilliant. It's a T-Rex.
Don't worry, they're fine. They're a marvel to behold, and I suppose if they were dangerous, it would be frightening. But I'm more worried about our village. It's quiet. I don't see anybody. We need to get up there.
Right. I propose I go towards the back. I am not the strongest jumper.
Carry you across.
Might be better.
Hiskin can fly you. He could fly everyone up there, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Let's just chill. I mean,
Yeah, we should just
if
do
Hisik wants
that.
to jump for fun, let him jump. But like, we'll just have his ferry the rest of us while he's just hopping.
So he
like
can
Super
show
Mario.
off.
Yeah, exactly. He'll just Super Mario cross
Yeah.
Alright, so Hiss takes turns. You each take turn grabbing hold of her talons, as she holds onto your wrists. Her large wings beat and carry you across the larger of the gaps to these dwellings here.
Okay. Uh, does Hisset come with us, or does he want to puck off?
I will with you.
You don't have to.
Yeah, he sounds so disappointed. Just hop it.
Unless you don't want to waste your step of the wind.
No, let's go.
Okay, so now we're at this chunk of
Yes.
housing.
You see Gore
Does
walk
it
up
look
to
like anyone's... Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
do a perception check.
Vanya, do you want to do it?
Sure.
Since this is your adventure.
Look at that wisdom. So wise.
So good.
Oh, wow.
Such wise, all wisdom. So as you and Gore kind of walk up and listen, all you hear is the sound of birds and insects. As Gore reaches up to knock on the door, he raps on it, and the door falls off of its hinges into revealing the interior of a stone cliff dwelling that has clearly been abandoned. The jungle itself has seemed to reclaim it. As you look into the dusty interior, you see moss growing, ferns growing through open windows, vines stretching across the floor and hanging from the ceiling, and all is silence. Gore kind of stumbles in. What's going on here?
I don't know. This looks like it's been abandoned a while, though.
Are there any signs of damage to the housing here? Other than the wear and tear of just
Yeah,
Any
there
sign
are
being
of
blood
abandoned.
stains.
struggle or battle?
Yeah.
Perception check, you two.
Wait, perception check or investigation?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do an investigation check. What was the roll? An 8 and a 7.
I swear
Wait.
I have a +7.
Ignore mine, I thought you were talking to me. Ignore mine.
So you had a 10, so you got a 17. And Lucilla, you guys both have.
I need it to be high because of checking for traps.
So as you guys kind of look around
I do so
this
often.
dwelling in particular, you don't see any damage. Nothing that would indicate a battle or a struggle had taken place. In fact, as you look around, you see that there aren't any personal possessions at all. No clothing in ruins, no like moth-eaten clothing. There's some old furniture that's rotted in the humidity of the jungle. There's no like dishes or silverware or incidentals of living. It looks more abandoned than like destroyed.
Kala will
guess-
walk to the nearest like wooden chair or bench or table and kind of like put a hand on it as if it's like a fallen comrade and being like, that's a shame.
It's a
Um,
nice chair.
Brad,
I love it. Yeah.
standing here looking at all this, and I'd like to think back as we came into the port, did Hisik see any like columns of like not columns of smoke, but like smoke from like humanoid campfire, like any signs of living type? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
Do we
There.
want his to do like a aerial?
Yeah, wouldn't be a terrible thing unless she gets eaten by a pterodactyl. Then it would be a really pterodactyl thing.
That would be a terrible thing to
Yeah.
happen. I like it. I love it. So, Hiss walks to the door. She jumps out, dives off the side, spreads her wings, and flies up and starts circling through the area. She disappears for about 10 minutes or so as you guys kind of sift through. Gore goes to the next building. Same thing there. He turns to you, Vanya. This is... Something's wrong here. Clearly, I know you can see that. I promise this is not what it was like when I left.
Oh, is it
And
Captain
and
Fox?
how long has it been since you left for?
It's 15 years. I guess anything could have happened in that period of time. Just never would have expected this.
Maybe even those friendly large lizards may have not been friendly anymore.
Well, let's hope that's not the case.
It almost seems like the people abandoned this settlement for some reason.
That's what it looks like.
Is there a structure here, a building that would have been of importance to everyone instead of just take it these are all homes? Is there a temple or a meeting hall, and we can gather facts there?
Well, there was a temple up above us. The large building is a temple that was more for daily use, so we didn't have to make the trek to the main temple, which was north on the trail. And then there's that temple, of course, um, just across the bridge. There's Vogan's Hold. Um, there's a mine out in the desert. It's like a surface mine. The lighthouse. I don't know. The temple probably would be a good place to check.
The
The one here in
temple.
town or the one across the way?
Well, both. My father, if he's all right, he's probably at the main temple. But the daily temple is just kind of above us. Around then, Hiss returns. She kind of... You look at her and you see her just like shake her head back and forth.
Okay. I guess we'll go to up to this temple.
Um, so you guys work your way up the path, jumping gaps, being carried over some, looking through the cliff dwellings, and it's the same story at each one. Looks like most everything has been removed and left, presumably, to rot. You don't find anyone or sign of life. The one thing you do end up finding you basically find like a smattering of like forgotten things, maybe things that have been dropped in haste or left on purpose. You don't know, but in total, you do find a dusty pouch, a leather pouch with 50 gold pieces in it. You find it, just kind of random dropped bits of silver and copper, about 30 silver pieces in total. Searching through one room, you do find
Bless you.
you find a book. It looks to be like a children's book, almost maybe like a dime novel kind of thing. Bless you. The title is just simply mythological legends of myth. Um, as you kind of page through it, it's just kind of each chapter is a child's quality of um, information or tales told of heroes long gone. There's one that tells of a dwarven warrior named Kavarn and his wizard companion Geknak, the gnome, a deep gnome. Tells of his tale of searching what is known as the bride price. Kavarn was searching for that so that he could prove his love and worth to marry Hela Brightshield, a god from a dwarven god. Another speaks of a half-elven warrior known as Yalno, who was involved in a mighty war with a witch who commanded many armies at her disposal. Another was of a human warrior who was known to use his tiefling companion as a weapon in times of great need. He would often throw him as a javelin, using his horns as a weapon. The tales go on and on of just different kind of noir style tales of heroism.
I like to imagine the tiefling begrudgingly does it every time. They're just like, oh, fine.
Yes, he doesn't want it. It's
No, it's just like, oh, I guess.
the warrior rolled a natural 20 and grabbed his friend and just rammed him into the center of a minotaur against his will. Anyways, you work your way up to the temple itself, and as you move through the large double doors, it likewise is the same. Worship areas, rotted pews, an old kitchen. Everything of value is missing, and its emptiness is apparent in the echoing sound of your footsteps and the prints you leave in the dust on the floor.
So is there anywhere else to...
There is another larger building here. This guy.
Okay.
You could look at.
Yeah, I guess we keep going.
You guys move up the pathway to the top. And there, as you walk in through the doors of an ornate and kind of lavish, of all the cliff dwellings, this does appear to be a dwelling, and it appears to be better appointed, or would have been anyways. Gord says, "This is my father's house." As you walk through the front doors, you do see something different here. becomes clear to you very quickly that someone is living here, or has been. As you search through the house, you notice that it is cleaner, though it is similarly being retaken by the jungle and the land. There's been an actual effort to clear out certain portions of the home. You find a bed made of like jungle wood and branch material, leaf material. You find stores of dried lizard meat, or dinosaur meat, perhaps. Stores of fresh fruit. Um, Even some clothing that appears to have been made from woven material, plant material. You find a couple of weapons, crude, primitive weapons. As you look at the spearheads and knives, they're made from the obsidian found on the island. You even have the same properties of some static electricity kind of blinking in and out of existence in the blades. But this building is empty still. Of people, at least.
Is there any like letters or like marks on the wall for tallies of days or something?
No.
Is there like a fire pit that they seem to have been using to cook their food?
Yes, there is. There have been like chimneys in each of these places, and there is one, and the fireplace is warm. No, the fireplace isn't warm, but there is ash. Like in the other places, there's like the hint of ash, uh, fire marks on the walls of the chimney. But here there is recent ash, though it is cold.
Okay.
Just
Ukalo,
wonder.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just thinks to himself that must be nice to live up higher than lower, just based on humor pots.
I mean, it's gotta go somewhere.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's fair.
Okay, it's gotta go somewhere.
They got windows, you know.
Yeah.
Feel better to
What if
live
there's a
above.
what if there's a wind?
It's like on pirate ships, they'd have the seats that hang off the side. Go straight in the ocean.
Yeah, but it's like if you were on the pirate ship and you were above someone sticking out their head out of the window below
Oh,
you.
God. Oh boy. Ukala will find we'll try to find the most like complete or like largest garment of clothing and kind of hold it up to try to get an idea of the size of the person that might wear it.
It's crudely made. You find like almost like a tunic, long sleeves. It's hard to tell the height, but you can probably guess that it's like an average sized person with a tunic that goes down to the knees or the shins, kind of split in the middle for ease of movement. But you can tell like this is a garment made by someone who doesn't know how to make garments. They're just figuring it out or making do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like to roll a survival and see if there's any like hair or anything on the clothing that would be more beastie or like humanoid.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and do a or is that what you were doing with the survival check? Yeah. So as you kind of looking at any dust in the area, looking at the clothing, looking for hair, you find like long strands of gray hair on the clothing and on a pillow, makeshift pillow kind of thing.
So
But it
older
appears
person-
human. or at least humanoid, rather.
Likely an older person, elderly person.
My father had short gray hair when I last saw him.
Could have grown it out since then.
15
Might
years,
we?
of course.
I don't know if there's anything else to be found here. Might we go to the larger temple?
I hope he's all
I
right.
think so. How long does? Sorry, no. I'm asking
Like
a
an
technical
hour,
question.
probably more.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
An hour.
Yeah, can she take us to the next temple, or is it too far away?
Give me a second. I imagine you guys have been looking around
Yeah,
for the better part of at least an hour.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have dropped it by now. At least
Yeah.
to get in this building.
Yes, I imagine
yeah.
she has.
Yeah. Okay.
If someone has been living here, how did they get in and out? Is my question. Not everyone has the luxury of a giant eagle to carry them about.
No, that's true, and neither do we anymore.
Pterodactyl.
Yeah, was your father
He has
magic
a
anyway?
trained pterodactyl.
No, not that I know of. Although he did have a secret.
Does it look like there's any entrances into the mountainside in this building?
Investigation check?
Why did I close my character sheet? Why do I ever close my character
Oh, I
sheet?
do that all the time. You didn't see any. As you kind of look around for that kind of stuff, secret entrances, and you haven't found anything like that.
Cool. Guess we head back down. And we have to jump over the gaps anyway. This was not our smartest use of polymorph.
So I'll say you guys,
Go.
Did.
you guys make your way down. You spend another hour making sure you get over the gaps. Going down is a lot easier. Running and jump downward, though scary, is better than jumping up. You guys make your way down to the jungle below. As you get down to the base, you hear a crash. Crashing steps, and you see the brush move. And out of the jungle walks this huge four-legged beast, walking on all fours with its back covered in scaly armor and spikes, with a long tail with what looks like knobby, bony protrusions sticking off the back. And he kind of like ambles into the clearing you guys are in and starts eating plant life. Gore, shh, quiet. These are some of my favorites. He kind of walks up to it. Hey, old girl. Oh, I've missed you. And he like runs his hand over the head of the creature and starts working his way back along the back. And as he reaches the tail, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, is this his pet?
No.
Does it look like?
No, it's not my pet. There are many of these on the island. But they keep the undergrowth in check. There isn't much that can hurt you, is there? And you watches the the tail like swings back and smashes him right in the chest and flings him like 10 feet into a nearby jungle tree. Oh my gosh. he like rolls over onto all fours and it kind of like sidles around and puts its tail, like angles its back towards you and starts swinging its tail back and forth and backs its way like into the jungle away from you all. You hear it crushing its way into the distance.
I stifle a chuckle.
Thanks.
Are you alright? That looked quite painful.
It was.
I don't think it remembers it's supposed to be friendly.
I used to ride those around the island as a child. Things have changed.
Maybe they have short
Means they have
attention spans after 15 years, you
domesticated
know.
any longer.
Yeah.
You guys make your way through the forest. Oop, let's move back here. Just a little bit up the way, you pass another junction, heading off to the west. And that's my old... used to be my favorite place in the island, down there. It's where I found my compass needle. It's a lagoon with a waterfall. We'll visit it later. We should head our way to the temple. You guys continue through the jungle to where you end up. As you get closer and closer, you hear the rush of water, and you end up on a jungle riverbank. About a river about a quarter-mile wide rushes out to the southeast, and a very well put-together stone bridge spans the length of it. You make your way across the bridge, and you start climbing up a steep trail that leads up to a large cliffside mesa, maybe 150, 250 feet up. The steps are carved in the mountain itself. They're expertly carved. And you make your way up, and as you do so, and you top the rise, you're now standing far above the jungle on a craggy stone plateau. And before you stands a 50-foot tall by 50-foot square building made completely of expertly cut obsidian. The corners are 90 degrees. It's just like a perfect square with a rectangular 20-foot tall opening in the front. Here in this particular building, you see large amounts of lightning sparking from corner to corner across the faces of this cube. The sunlight would reflect off the edges if it wasn't so overcast due to the clouds above. You hear the sound of thunder, and rain starts falling on you as you look.
How far are we away from the doors?
Maybe like 50 feet or so from the top of the trail. As the rain starts falling on you, you hear and your skin, you start feeling, with every drop of water, you feel the pinprick of pain as our prescient captain read the future, apparently. And there is acid rain.
God damn! I don't like being right so often.
And you all take 4 acid damage as you feel your skin burn underneath the rain.
Racing towards the temple.
Now we run for the temple.
Alright,
Yeah.
so you guys race and run towards the temple, and you run through the doors into a dark interior. Gore hands out torches to each of you, lighting them each. And as you lift them up and look around you, you see about a 40-foot inner space. That's all it is, 40 feet by 40 feet. There are rotted pews that have been completely destroyed, collapsing to the floor of this tunnel. The floor itself is also obsidian, and you can see the lightning in the floor as well. You can see the shadow of what in your light. You can see what looks to be like a stone. The entire back wall of this temple, it looks to be a large stone map. But what catches your attention before that is the sound of shuffling. And you look and you hear, and you watch as what looked to be just like a strange shadow on the wall starts lurching forward across to the main aisle where you guys are standing near the entrance. The dim light from your torches and the outside sheds light down the main aisle, and you see a humanoid figure, completely naked, black skin, like so dark it doesn't seem like a normal shade of that a humanoid would have.
Like dark elf.
Right. It's
Kinda.
yeah, sure. Yeah. You watch as it walks towards you. It lurches towards you, but almost like it has to pull its feet up off the ground. And as you look, every step it takes, it leaves behind these stringy mucus tendrils that snap and sink down to the floor, leaving these like gummy black mucus footprints on the floor. Every step it takes, it's pulling itself towards you. Its mouth hangs open. You can see broken teeth. It's missing an eye. Its other one is milky white. Missing an arm, and the one arm it has pulls away from its body, again, almost pulling it away, leaving strings of what looks like tar as it reaches out towards you, lurching towards you. It's the only one that you see. What do you guys do?
Does this look similar at all to the blueberry zombies? Minus the blueberry bit. Can we safely assume this is undead?
It looks undead.
Yeah. How far is it away from us?
Maybe like 20 feet. Just kind of stumbling towards you.
I want to sort of move to the side and try and get a view towards the back. Like, I basically want to sneak around it and try and see if there's any others or if this is the only one.
Okay, go ahead and do a perception check as you step off to the side and kind of look for more of the same. You don't see any more. You're fairly confident that this is the only one in the building. Although you do notice, as you're looking around, kind of circling around it, that there are more of these footprints. This tar-like substance that has been left on the wall, up towards the front to the back. As you work your way around it, this thing is moving pretty slow. It's easy to kind of make your way around it. You get to the back of the back wall, You do see that there is some blood on the ground in juxtaposition to the black tar-like substance footprints and residue that seems to be left in different portions on the floor. Your
There was
torch,
black tar in Gore's dream, wasn't there?
as you look, there was like a black amniotic fluid.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So as
This
you,
might be some.
your torchlight kind of sheds light, and the back wall becomes more clear as you just kind of look at it in your inspection. You see what you would recognize as a map of the world. The continents, the Azure Sea, you recognize your homeland, but it's made completely of interlocking scales of stone, expertly crafted and fit together, almost like hexes. Like you would look at it like a D&D hex map, but they're scales of stone that fit together to make this map. It even has like depth to it, where there a mountain range would be, or a valley, and it's the entire world. All right, the creature's about 10 feet from the rest of you. What are you guys doing?
see, it looks aggressive, right?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't need to roll initiative necessarily. Just whatever you guys are
Good.
gonna do.
Good thing.
It's
That was
one
not a good
creature.
roll.
I think that is the lowest initiative I've ever seen Kurt roll.
That is the
Yeah,
lowest he
it's-
could
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I've never. I don't think I've ever sucked that bad.
Welcome to my world, bud.
I'm just giving everyone else an opportunity to go first.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it's just like
Way to
that.
be a team player. I guess Ukala will get his shield ready and like wave the torch to see if it like does anything to dissuade or keep the creature at bay, though I doubt it.
No, it keeps moving forward, and as the light kind of reflects a little bit closer on him, you see this tar-like substance is like dripping off of it. Its open mouth, like the tar is coming out of its mouth and dripping down to its chest, where it kind of molds in with the rest of it, flowing down its body to the feet.
Gross.
It's now within 5 feet of you guys.
I'm gonna suggest we back up.
Okay. As you guys back up out of the temple, it continues to follow you. Now, if you guys are you leaving the temple, or are you like backing up into different portions of the temple itself?
Back away from it, staying inside.
Okay.
Because isn't it raining outside?
Yes, it's still raining outside.
Yeah.
Okay. The creature just continues to follow you around, trying to take random swipes at you.
Let's kill it.
Does it look like Gore recognizes this person at all?
He just kind of has like a horrified look on his face, but you can do an insight check if you wanted. With disadvantage, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm
From
far
that-
away.
From that being that far away and what's going on in the dim light, I'd say you can't tell if he knows.
Okay, that's fair.
So Gore does take out his rapier and he walks up to it and he sticks it like through the base of the jaw and punches it out the top of the head. Pulls it out and then just swings his rapier as hard as he can and just decapitates it. And it falls down onto the ground and just keeps crawling. The head just kind of like sticks to the ground, and as you watch, like the tar just flows out of its mouth and off its face, kind of turning its head into like this amorphous glob. As it continues to like pull itself across the floor towards you, it leaves this trail of tar and tendrils as it crawls.
This would probably firebolt it.
Yeah, Hiss hits it with a
Wait, wait,
fire.
wait. Is his here?
Is it?
Chip!
Chip.
Yay!
You're just in time to firebolt a zombie.
Glob, yeah.
Zombies?
So we're
Lovely
on
zombie.
Vogan's Island, and there's lots of abandoned houses, and we think we found the Venom suit or something.
And you were an eagle.
It's similar. That's a
Oh,
good.
yeah.
We're an eagle.
That's a good
Nice.
approximation of what it kind of looks like.
I see a botched initiative roll, and right.
That's right. Keep rubbing it in.
So Hiss reaches out with a firebolt. It burns a hole through this creature, and it eventually stops crawling and stops moving.
I know I pointed out the potential similarity earlier, but does this look like the same stuff that was in Gore's head, or is it different?
It's very similar.
Very similar. Cool.
Very
Love
similar.
that for us. Where are the umbilical cord things? Where are they hiding?
I forgot
So-
that happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just I'd like to remind you of that.
Lucilla, one other thing that you did notice about that back wall, the map made of stone. At the base of it, you saw 3 depressions in the stone. There's 2 that look like compass needles. They're basically holes carved in the stone. One that looks like might fit Vanya's compass needle. Another one that might fit Vanya's compass needle. And then one about 3-inch cubed rectangular depression that is connected to one of the compass needle looking depressions, by a small channel in the stone. If that makes sense.
All those depressions.
Yeah.
I feel depressed. Okay.
And then the blood on the floor, there's the blood on the floor as well, if you remember that. But anyway.
Yeah. Is the tar moving at all, or is it stagnant?
Is what? It's just
The
kind of like
task.
seeking, like settling, I'd say. Spreading out.
So does it look like there was a skeleton or a body within it, or did it like coalesce to form the shape of a body?
No, there's definitely a body there.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a human, 2 arms, 2 legs kind of body, except it only had the 1 arm.
Okay. I'm gonna relay the information about the depressions in the wall to the others.
Yeah, Vanya will hold up hers to one of them just to make sure. She'll see if
So-
Gore can do the same. You want to see if Gore's gonna do it.
So yeah, you guys walk to the map, and at the base of the map, you're able to put your compass needle into the depression. It fits perfectly. Gore takes his out, puts his in the hole as well. Nothing happens. Yeah, I was afraid of that.
What is this? They must have talked about it.
I tried to sneak in once to see. The map is part of the ceremony. When the chosen would come with their needles, this had something to do with it. They would, after the ceremony, they would leave, and they would never return again. I tried to sneak in to see it, but I was caught, and my father was very adamant that I wasn't to be part of this. So I was never able to see what happened, but I did know and see that my father has a needle as well. And I think it was part of this. It was special, it was different than the ones that the others brought. And he starts like looking around. I'm fairly confident that wasn't my father. So the question is, where is he?
Did he ever talk to you about some secret place, some plan, or something?
No, not that I know of.
Where does the blood look like it came from? Is there any?
Do a medical check, medicine check.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh no, it's worse than I thought.
You got this.
Hey, that's not terrible.
Shut up, Bert.
That's, apparently, there's large birds on this island, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
a party. Oh, also, there's acid rain outside of this temple.
Oh
here.
yeah, we should
Oh yeah,
So
good.
that's a
point
thing.
that out.
Which
Oh my
Charlotte
God.
did predict.
So,
I don't know. Viscous clouds tells me that rain's gonna be pain.
rain is pain. So it's human blood.
Okay. Do I like put my finger in it and taste it just to tell?
You tell me.
No.
All right, so it's human blood. It's dry, but it's not so crusty. Like it's not super old, as best as you can tell. But you can't because
Okay.
not a good enough check to figure out like how old it is. But you do know it's human blood. It seemed as if, and as you're down on your knees looking around, you can see that while most of these rows of pews are destroyed, dry rotted due to the humidity and the conditions, and lack of care, there does seem to have been some kind of a struggle. Those front pews on that side look to have been smashed or crashed or landed upon or something.
Okay.
Hisik, why don't you do a survival check for me? That's the stuff. You do, as Lucilla kind of tells you about all that, you start looking around. You can see that the blood itself was probably reasonably fresh. As you reach down with your fingers, you kind of touch it and rub it. It has the viscosity and the consistency, rather, of it's been probably less than a day.
Not a trail, is there? Like a trail of blood?
No, there's only like one door, but it does look like maybe someone had been dragged out the front door. You see, as you look closer now, Hisik, you can see that there are some drag marks, perhaps, in the dust.
I suggest we follow them. We want to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Y'all, there's a lot of spooky stuff on this island.
Spooky island.
They're dinosaurs, though.
Oh.
I'm
So
sure.
you're telling me the chance of dinosaur v dinosaur combat is greater than 0 right now. Wait, no, my fourth
Especially
level thought was
if you
used.
were able to transform into one,
So
Once
then
we
it's 100% guaranteed.
you guys follow the drag marks out to the edge of the temple's opening, where they more or less disappear into the rocky ground outside. You might have to come up with a different way to find out what happened the previous day. But as you stand at the temple opening and look out into the rain that burns, you see before you, southward, the bridge below, jungles stretching out to the edge of the island, and a waterfall drifting off the edge of the obsidian cliffs into the ocean beyond. Where once you thought you were going to arrive to get answers to your questions, Vanya, only more questions present themselves. The mystery is able to be solved, but there's more to it now. And with that, we're probably going to have to stop, because I had to stop it earlier today, or we'd keep going, but... Sorry, guys. Sorry, Chip.
Sorry.
Sorry,
okay.
Chip.